Hey, good morning. It is 10:02. We're slightly a little late this morning. And Boogie with the Bull, Red Friday Morning Caffeine is on a device somewhere near you. With me this morning is Bill Muckler, Bonnie Johnson, Randy Rhodes, and William Rayfield from the Patriots Lab platform, Patriots Lab broadcasts. And one by one, we'll do a little introduction of ourselves, and then Mr. Muckler, you will take us through Red Friday like you always do, and then we'll go from there. So good morning, Bonnie.
Good morning. How is everybody this morning? Happy Red Friday. Remember, everybody deployed until they all come home. I'm Bonnie Johnson. I actually am a traveling nurse with the Veterans Administration, and I also am working on a disabled veterans housing project out here in Alabama. So good morning, everyone.
Okay, let's see. William Rayfield.
Good morning, people, patriots, whoever you consider yourself to be. Good morning, panel. Hope everybody's got your coffee. I'm ready.
Randy Rhodes, say hello.
Randy's is still muted.
Randy, your mic is not on. There it is.
This is Randy from Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. It is the Bible Belt of our state, and we send prayers out to all those who are deployed here in the United States as well as overseas. We know that there's many military operations in play that the public are not aware of. So we want God to be watching over them and keeping them safe. And to obviously, for those who've already served, we all need continued prayers and support because of our experiences and what we've gone through and saw, which can have an effect on someone's life. So if you're an American and you're a citizen and you live in the United States, thank a veteran because that's why we have this country.
Okay, and that, Mr. Muckler.
Well, I think everybody's really caught on to the Red Friday thing, so I don't think I need to elaborate on any more. I've been talking about Red Friday for more than 20 years now, and and what I've been saying lately over the last few months is we just need to remember everyone who's serving in the armed forces right now because they're either deployed or they can be deployed in a moment's notice. So, let's remember them and say prayers for them. Keep them out of harm's way. Keep them safe. So usually, Dave, you want me to come on? I can be on for a short while. And what I want to talk about today, you always let me come up with a topic. Let's talk about lawyers and lawsuits. America seems to be a lawless country all of a sudden. Now I'm looking at the screen here, and I know our viewers. None of us have lawsuits going on right now, and none of us are in prison or out on parole or anything like that, or have skipped bail. So what's with the rest of the country that everybody seems to be in some kind of a state of lawlessness? And the reason I bring this up, I'm kind of over exaggerating it a little bit. Right now, Senator Bob Menendez from New Jersey, he's on trial in Manhattan, New York, for selling secrets, the United States secrets to the Egyptian government or something like that. And they caught him with cash and gold bars sewn into his clothes and hanging in his closets. I can't imagine, and this is somebody that the Democrats really like this guy, although I think they're about ready to unload on him because this is the second time he's been caught on something like this. Then we've got Hunter Biden. He's on 2 trials, and Hunter Biden really shouldn't be on trial. Joe Biden should be on trial. So what we're doing is the country is spending all this time and resources trying to get the real criminal's son, who's obviously a criminal too, because they're all part of the Biden criminal enterprise. But in any case now, Biden's attorney, I guess Abby Lane, he gets his money from a guy who I can't recall his name right now, has given $6 million to Hunter's defense fund. But apparently this guy borrowed this money. Who in the hell would borrow money, $6 million, to give it to Hunter Biden's defense fund, unless they were going to get something back, a lot more benefits back from the head of the Biden criminal enterprise, Joe Biden, who, by the way, is also a lawyer, as is Hunter Biden, as is Bob Menendez. So they're all lawyers, and they all have lawyers, and they're all running up legal fees. And either we're paying, the taxpayers paying the legal fees, or these people are doing this and they're going to get the money back, and it's eventually going to come from the taxpayers. So here we are, taxpayers. We got all this going on. Then we got the really big one going on in New York. One of Trump's 5 trials. He's being prosecuted for what the guys on his side say there's no crime. But if you go to the guys on the other side, like Lanny Davis, who's Michael Cohen's attorney, or you look at the pundits on CNN or MSNBC, although a few of them are kind of starting to question this, they say, oh, there's 41 crimes, and felonies, and Trump's got to be put away for hundreds of years. So they're convinced that there's a lot of crimes have been committed by Trump, and on the guys on Trump's side say there's no crimes. There hasn't been any evidence of any crime. So who are we supposed to believe? And if Trump is guilty of criminal activity, I would like to know about it. If I'm going to support him, I'd like to know what's going on. So anyway, here's the deal. The lawyers are making all the money. The lawyers are making all the news. The lawyers, they've got a handle on everything. And this wasn't the way it was supposed to be. If you recall, our founding fathers, George Washington was not an attorney, but he was a leader. John Adams was an attorney. Thomas Jefferson was an attorney. Alexander Hamilton was an attorney. Monroe was an attorney. All these guys were attorneys that founded our country. I don't think any of them had any idea what was going to go on 250 years later with the bozos we have. And I shouldn't be disrespectful to Bozo the Clown, because these guys are worse. They're making the money, they're making the news, and however it works out, we're still never going to know the truth, because this trial for Trump is in New York City. And in New York City, Trump is not going to get a fair trial. We're never going to know if he was guilty or not, because they're definitely going to pronounce him guilty, because the fix is in. Now, let me tell you why I know the fix is in. The judge, I don't know if you guys have followed all this, the judge's daughter is one of Biden's biggest donors and Democrat donors, and she's making millions of dollars off of promoting this whole trial. And this guy, he's got Trump under a gag order, which means Trump can't speak about the trial or the judge or the jury or anything that's going on. But everybody else, Michael Cohen and everybody else, can talk about it. So Trump's attorneys, his attorneys, because he's got a whole boatload of attorneys that are making a ton of money off of this as well. They go to the appeals court and say, hey, how comes our guy can't speak, but everybody else can? And the appeals court said, the judge ruled, and we're sticking with the judge, and go back to court, and the gag order stays. That's pretty much what came down. So Trump, all the Trump supporters say, well, yeah, we kind of know that the jury's fixed and the prosecution is fixed, the judge is fixed, but we're going to win this in appeals court. The same appeals court that said Trump can't even talk about his own trial. Come on, the fix is in. And who's in charge of the fix? The attorneys. And all the attorneys and judges and prosecutors are making tons of money off of this. And you have to wonder, how did the Biden criminal enterprise orchestrate all this? Well, they've got the Department of Injustice running this whole thing, because what did they do? They took their number 3 guy, Coangelo, and sent him to Bragg's office. And so he's now working for Bragg as a lead prosecutor. This is the number 3 guy in the Department of Justice. So I don't know if he's left the Department of Justice or if he's on leave or he's temporarily inactive or whatever status is, but it doesn't make any difference, because they'll come up with a story to say, we did everything right and you guys did everything wrong and you're going to jail because we've got all the judges on our side who've got this thing fixed, just like we fixed the election that you're not allowed to deny, and just like we fixed everything, which comes down to the next thing that I wanted to talk about is, while we're focused on all these lawyers and all these lawsuits and all these trials going on, the national debt is still climbing at record paces. We're now going to, after we've given money to pay off the student loans, which, by the way, we did, because I've gotten some people who contacted me that have stories of, real stories of people who had their loans forgiven. One of them who went to one of the art schools that got their loans forgiven. Now the Democrats are going to give money to people who can't afford to buy houses, who have zero money. They're going to give them money so they can go ahead and buy homes. Well, who's that going to be that's going to get this money that's going to be able to buy homes? I don't think it's going to be me. But anyway, think about that. Whenever the government gets involved in something, and the lawyers are all behind all this, because the Biden criminal enterprise, they're all lawyers. Biden's a lawyer. The price of homes are going to go out of sight. And people are not going to be able to afford to make the payments on these homes that they're getting free, because eventually they're going to have to pay mortgages on the balances. It's going to wreck the housing market. Just like, and then what's going to happen is exactly what happened with the universities, because of the government giving student loans. Now the government's going to give housing loans to people who have no money, who can't afford houses, so they can have houses that they can't afford. Brilliant idea. Another brilliant idea by the attorneys who run the United States government, which is all attorneys who have no skills. All they're good at is making speeches, and they're really very good at raising money and taking money away from us. So, those are their skills. Now, let's talk about another thing. Here's another thing. The Department of Injustice attorneys. A guy that works for Fox News by the name of Bill Maloogian, who's been kind of camped out on the southern border for the last 3 or 4 years or so, it seems like. He's been watching all these criminals, these invaders coming across our border. Now, you don't hear anything about them anymore, because the one hand is saying, watch over here at the attorneys, but so we don't watch over here with this hand where the invaders are coming across the border. So now we got all these invaders are still coming across the border. You'd think that, I guess they stopped. There's no more coming. Well, they're coming in droves. The invaders are coming in droves. So Malusian says he would like to know how many gotaways are coming across and where are they from? So he submits a FOIA request. That's FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. Anybody can do this. There's a guy, Tom Fitton from Judicial Watch, does this all the time. People can do this. They can request information from the government. The government is obligated to give them that. So what happened? The Department of Injustice or whoever it is that responded to this said, no, we're not going to tell you this information. We're not going to release this information because the privacy of the invaders is greater than your need to know the information. Wow. You can be a criminal who sneaks across the border, you got away, and your privacy is more important than our need to know who in the heck is in our country. Does this seem right? Well,
it does. Hey, Bill,
okay.
William, I just want to stop you for a second only because William has a question for you. So let me go to William for a second and let him ask his question. Go ahead, Bill. Go ahead, Ray.
So you were talking about the trial that's going on with Donald Trump right now. Now, when you explain it, you're explaining, all of the criminals and everybody who's in charge and things of that nature. When it comes down to picking a jury, is it correct that both sides gets the opportunity to pick the jurors and keep the ones that they think that are suitable and get rid of the ones that might have a conflict of interest and things of that nature? So you would say the jury's just made up of ordinary, average New York citizens, wouldn't you say?
William, yes, you are absolutely correct on that. However, let me dig a little bit deeper into this. There's a 12-man jury plus 6 alternates, so 18. So, yes, both sides get to select who's going to be on the jury. So they come up with hundreds, maybe 400 or 500 or whatever potential jurors are called in. I've been called in to be on these juries, I don't know, 3 or 4 different times.
Right.
Okay. We come in and they interview or they vet or whatever they do, each and every one of them. And so each side can kind of discard a certain amount. But the jury pool in New York, which votes 90% Marxist, is going to be made up of 90% Marxist jurors. So eventually, the Trump side runs out of the number that they can discard, so they kind of have to get the best of the worst, so to say. So that's who ends up being on the jury. And in this case, there are 2 attorneys on the jury who are going to really influence the rest of the jury. And if they are Biden Marxists, you can kiss the country goodbye.
Well, this is the problem that I have with that, because even though New York majority used to be blue, if you see the optics today from those same citizens that make up that same blue demographics, them as human beings, not as being Democrats or Republicans, but them as being human beings, have finally decided to come out. We've seen things take place with Donald Trump in New York City that we thought would never take place. And it's not a political thing, in my opinion. It's a loyalty thing of New Yorkers seeing one of their own being done wrong. Because at the end of the day, I think people are starting to be reminded, not only did Trump used to be one of them, but they also see the circumstances that the Democrats have them in. He went to a bodega in Manhattan, hardcore blue, And all of those Hispanics that are all Democrats out there were cheering not just for Trump, but they were cheering for America. The steel workers, there were 700 estimated down there, all alpha men, Democrats, not in love with Trump, but tired of the policies in which the Democratic Party have taken them. Now, I've been listening to people who've been following the trial. There's a guy by the name of Bob Costello, who is Michael Cohen's 15-year friend and advisor. And he has come out and finally said Michael Cohen has told him over and over and over again that he never had any evidence on Donald Trump. Now, this might be the last witness if they have to call him. With those two attorneys sitting on that jury, wouldn't you think, with nothing even tying Trump, this was basically a smear thing for him. That's all it was. There's nothing that they can stand on. Wouldn't they be going against their own ethical code? And then to wrap it up, wouldn't you, now it only takes one person, wouldn't you think out of those 12 juries, one of those people in there might have that same sentiment as those steel workers, as those people out at the bodega? Because those juries aren't part of the political hierarchy. See, everything they've been doing so far has been backfiring. So why wouldn't this lead me to believe that this is going to backfire on them also? And I'll leave it at that.
Okay, do you want me to answer that?
Of course.
Everything William says is true, and he's talking about Bob Costello. I've seen Bob Costello's interviews on TV and so forth. What William is presuming is that everything is that the jurors are ethical, that everybody's ethical, that these people have now seen the light, and they're going to be looking at Trump as being, as being objective and so forth. I don't believe that. First of all, if you know anything about juries, every jury usually has one or two people who want to go one way or, go the other way. What'll happen is the rest of the jurors will gang up on them for hours and days until they finally get the people to say, look, we got to get out of here. You got to go with us, change your vote. And the people finally give up and they change. So that one or two people or three people, they'll convince them, they'll bully them, they'll do whatever they can to get them, because Democrats have one thing in common. Even though, we see some support from isolated groups, Democrats hate Trump. I know a lot of Democrats, and when I talk to them, I'll talk to them about policy, and they say, oh, yeah, that's all well and good, but I hate Trump, and I'll never vote for him. I'm voting for Biden. I'll say, well, but Biden, is wrecking the country. No, he's not. That's their logic. That's their ethics. That's the way they are. So even though William, I applaud you for having so much trust in our fellow mankind, I have absolutely zero trust in the citizens of New York who are going to eventually see the light and vote red in the next election, because no matter what they say, when they get that election booth on November 5th, and actually it'll be some kind of a mail-in ballot that they'll be doing in September, October, it's going to be voting for Biden, because they still that's their belief, and they can say everything they want to say, but I have no trust in them at all. But we'll find out sometime in November or December, I guess, what happened in New York, because we know that however it goes, eventually they'll come up with a vote tally. It ain't like in Florida where we find out who won, the same night. Anyway, my opinion is I don't trust them whatsoever. And I think, their hatred of Trump will outweigh anything else going on. And they'll bully anybody who decides that they think this whole thing is all wrong.
I agree with Bill. Trump's lawyers are doing a hellacious job, making fools out of Cohen and the other witnesses for the government, and they've proven time after time after time that the charges are false, the accusations are false, Trump is innocent, and everything is being stacked against him. And you can say what you want, yet they all had the ability to choose the jurors to approve or deny or whatever. And it boils down to no matter what that final jury decision is going to be, if that judge sees a innocent result, he can overturn it and say, screw you guys, I don't agree with this agreement. Either you go back and you rethink this, or I'm going to change it myself, because they do have the ability to do that. Now, the citizens of New York, they're screwed. I mean, they're screwed in their mind. They're screwed in their philosophy. How can any sane person living in New York, seeing what has happened to their glorious city, that, city line that, William talks about, that Trump built, that beautiful skyline with those buildings, the towers, and, when Trump was out there and happened to look for the dead and all that. But to sit back and see all these illegals coming into our city, destroying those historic hotels that had such phenomenal history and beauty to them, to see the mosque on every corner of the streets, to see how the citizens, the elderly, are being beaten and killed and spat on, how the synagogues are being defaced, how the Jews are being harmed, and the police have their hands tied. They can't do this, they can't do that, they can't, enforce the law because of the way the lawyers and the DAs of the city are. What if there are any true citizens, Trump supporters, Republicans, conservatives, people who love this nation living in New York City? They are probably too damn scared to vote or to let their thoughts be known, or they're going to go to vote. They're going to find out that, the machine's broken. We ran out of paper. There's no ink. Then we lost the power. There's going to be all kinds of excuses that's going to affect the turnout, not just in New York, but in all the swing states. I feel for Trump. I know he loves this country. I know, over 100 million people love him, but it boils down to that 100 million people don't have the backbone to forcibly stand up and, if need be, fisticuffs or worse, to make their points proven, like the liberals do. They burn down cities, they rape, they murder, they kill, they loot, and they don't go to jail. Why? Because they're protected, because they're doing what the left wants to do, and that is to keep our country in turmoil and in fear of itself.
Okay, I'm going to jump in after Randy for a second there. I'm going to highlight a point from Dr. Craig Peterson, who advises us on child psychology issues, because that is in his family. Craig says, I still don't think it is going to be Biden on the Dems ballot against Trump after the DNC in June. The DNC is in August, Craig, but minor correction there. They're going to pull a sneaky move and swap him out with Mike Obama. You're 100% right, Craig. This is what Democrats are saying behind the scenes. What they're actually saying, though, is at their August convention, August 19th in Ohio, Joe Biden will win the nomination, hands down. No one's going to go against him then. He's just going to get it. On or around June 19th, they're saying a couple of different things could happen. I don't even know if they're sure what could happen. One is that Joe Biden steps down as the nominee for 2024 and endorses Gavin Newsom, governor of California, endorses him, gives all of his delegates any electoral votes he thinks he might actually have, and he steps down as their candidate for president. It's unclear yet whether or not he would resign as president then, because it seems the Democrats that are pushing this all on him don't want him to resign before the end of his term, because they do not in any way want Vice President Kamala Harris to get kicked up to being president for even a day, because they don't want her to get a taste of it. I'm going to go from me to Bonnie, who has sat there patiently with her earbuds that are working 100% today, which means that she can be a part of the
That's
program.
wonderful.
I want to get your take on what we're all talking about right now, Bonnie.
Well, the take that I'm going to mention is, first of all, many times the law is not a moral compass. Another thing that I'm recognizing recently is criminals, they don't fear the law. They don't fear a judge. They don't fear God. However, what criminals mostly fear is the victim that lives through it, that's going to testify against them. The fact of the matter is right now, and I mean this in every way, the criminals right now in many cities all over, and I've traveled all over the United States, to every state 3 times and out of the country. We have more criminals in this country that do more things than many countries would ever allow, including pedophilia, which is pedophiles. It's really too bad that we can't get a grip on any of this. And most of the time they spend a night or 2 in jail and they come right back out. We are having a lot around the nation of fentanyl, drug-related issues that are killing a lot of youth and college students or overdosing on it. I consider fentanyl a bioweapon. That's how I see it. It's extremely dangerous. And that's why I don't like the drugs on the streets. A lot of the drugs are laced with fentanyl. If fentanyl is to get in our water system and they dump it down the toilet or the sink or anything else into our grass, into our natural waters, then we get sick. So the fact of the matter is, I'll be honest with you, if I even step wrong, or any of us that are, the better of citizens, we're going to jail. But these criminals, they do whatever they want most of the time because they know they can get away with it. And it's really a shame. And I hope we can get a better handle on this. I really do, because America's in a crisis right now and really needs to be dealt with appropriately. America needs to be run like a business, because we are a business. And I know that I mean business. Thanks, Dave.
Dave, let me jump in here a little bit.
Go ahead, Bill. I want you to jump in.
You mentioned the Democrat National Convention, August 19th to 22nd, I believe. Is not in an Ohio city. It's in Chicago, Illinois. And that's getting a lot of publicity based on the fact that it could be similar to the 1968 Democrat Convention, which also was in Chicago, Illinois, with all the protesters.
Did they also move it out of, there was a rumor going around.
It's always been in Chicago.
Okay. There was a rumor going around that Biden may not actually have made it onto the Ohio ballot and couldn't do it by August 9th, which is when he was supposed to be approved to be on the ballot. And because of that, they may have moved it to another state. Now, I respect you. It is what I just said. Hogwash. It didn't happen. It's just fluff that I've seen on the internet?
It sounds like a fairy tale, Dave.
Okay.
Dave. I've never heard of anything like that, and I've never heard of Biden or the Democrats not being able to get on any state ballot because they've got every state completely rigged, and Ohio is one of them. But it was never in Ohio. It was always Chicago, and that's what all they've been talking about is, will the protesters have the same effect on the convention this year as they did in 1968 in Chicago? The Republicans, by the way, theirs is July 15th in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is another hotbed of Marxism. I don't know how the Republicans are going to survive that, but I guess they will. In any case, the comment about Biden not being on the ballot, yeah, I guess we got to wait and see. Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got a way of looking at this. And if you ask me, for my humble opinion, I'm saying it's going to be Biden because they know they can control Biden. They can pull his strings. He's their puppet. I don't see them making a change. They might. Who knows? We don't know anything that's going to happen. I mean, 4 years ago, would we have thought that we'd have had a $35 trillion national debt and tens of millions of invaders crossing our southern borders? So,
Which is a foreign invasion. This is really what it is. Open borders causes human trafficking to skyrocket. It also, open borders also include slavery skyrocketing. It's unfortunate, and segregation, which we try to get away from all these things. Open borders is a tragedy. It also causes many crimes that can be prevented if our borders are closed. But again, that's on another day and another topic. We have a lot going on in America. We really do.
Actually, I know I've mentioned this many times, and the comment always just shut down. But the military takes an oath to protect against all enemies, foreign and domestic. We have been talking about the invasion of our nation since the Biden cartel has taken over. And we know for a fact that there are terrorists making their way across the border, if not on foot, by bus, by car, by truck, and now being flown over by the, yours truly, the government. So could we not say that the current government in office is a domestic enemy because they are allowing it to happen, and American citizens are being killed, they're being raped, they're being put into sex crimes, as far as being indoctrinated and sold and so forth. Could we not have the military go against the administration that's in the office that is allowing it? Because by all sense of purposes, they are currently a domestic enemy of our nation. I mean, people keep saying about treason, charges for treason. Well, that's an enemy of the state. So why can't the military? I don't understand there are some generals who will stand behind Biden, but it has to be someone somewhere who is saying enough's enough. We got to get control of our country back.
Okay,
Randy, I don't mean to interrupt you.
Can I answer that?
I'm going to interrupt everybody. Then I'm going to send it to William. I have one question for Bill. Our leaders, our Congress, or whoever can order martial law at any time, and the military takes over. Does the military, in fact, have to give control of the United States of America back, or can they keep it as long as they want? I want Bill to answer. When Bill's done with that answer, I'm going to move back to William because I cut William off to get that question into Bill. Bill? Wait a minute.
You muted, Bill.
Yeah, you're muted, Bill.
He talking his ass off though.
No, I know. Hold on, Bill. Okay,
Bill, muted.
Bill, your
That's
mic
how
is.
fast he's talking.
Yeah,
That's how fast he's talking.
Bill, your mic is muted.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I muted. Okay, let me start over. The Congress doesn't have the ability or the power to declare martial law, as far as I'm concerned. Only the president can do that, and the president is not going to do that. It's obvious. The military is not going to be have an uprising or anything like that. It's never going to happen. It's almost we're just wasting our time even thinking about the fact that the military is going to all of a sudden do something. The top military people are all part of the Biden criminal enterprise because they've gotten rid of all the generals who are of a conservative bent. And it's just not going to happen. This whole thing about, oh, the military is going to come and save us ain't going to ever happen. There's no sense even talking about it. It's foolish to even come up with these ideas. I don't even know where these ideas come from, or whoever even cooks them up, because it's so outlandish. I mean, what purpose does it serve to be talking about the military taking over, somebody taking over? That's not our country. The United States of America is a country of laws. And even though we got lawbreakers and lawlessness going on, we're not going to have the country taken over like a third world country, even though we're operating like one right now. And the military is never going to do this. And I just don't even see why anybody would even bring something like this up. It ain't ever going to happen. It's foolish to say that we're going to declare that the military is going to take over the country. How in the hell is that going to happen? And what are they going to do? And why is that going to make it any better? It ain't going to happen.
Okay. I understand,
anyway,
Bill.
Look, I usually tell you I'll be on for half an hour. It's been 45 minutes. You guys can go ahead and talk about the great military uprising and how they took over the country and made everything good again.
Okay.
But leave me out of it.
Okay, Bill. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay, hold on.
I'm gonna oh, he left.
Go ahead. No, excuse me. I said I would. I did say I would pass it back to you, William, after I asked Bill.
Well, I
So
want
I will
to
pass it back to you.
Oh, that's a lot to unpack. First of all, I just want to reiterate something he said that was very important. He said we're not going to be a third world country. So that would kind of offset what he's talking about when it comes to the military. Somebody's gonna have to take this over if we're not ever gonna become a third world country.
Right.
It's not just gonna happen by itself.
Okay.
If we're not to become a third world country. So America will never fall. We will never surrender. There's a such thing called optics and propaganda. Optics and propaganda are put out by two sources mainly: media and activist groups. So what is the Democratic Party of the hierarchy showing us right now? They got the mainstream media in their back pocket, giving us false narratives and lies. And they got these little Antifa rugrats running around, popping up everywhere. January 6th, BLMs. When Trump said there's good and bad people on both sides. The groups. These people will never speak for America. I've always told my followers, there will always be more of us than there is of them. Do you notice what's starting to happen on these college campuses now that these young American patriots are starting to come out with their bravery? These little groups are starting to disperse because they think these boys got too many Budweisers in them. Because these young cats coming out here are letting these people know, We're going to come out right in front of you, chant USA, sing the national anthem with aggression. Are y'all watching the videos? That's why I don't. That's why I differ on New York, because it ultimately comes down to the people. I understand people want to keep focusing on the hierarchy people because those are the ones who are pulling the triggers right now. But when people are given the opportunity, take New Jersey, for example, estimated 100,000, I'll just say 80,000 plus, in a blue state. Half of them don't even like Trump. You can hear them on the video. The hell with Trump. We ain't here for Trump. I'm here because my taxes. I'm here because of this. I'm here because of that. But everybody's entitled. Second thing. Way back when I started doing this about 8 years ago, I started getting introduced to two groups of people. White hats and black hats. Didn't know what they were at the time. Didn't know what a global takedown was. You ever heard of a sting operation? Going back to what Randy said. Why do they let things happen? Why are they letting the drug dealer continue to sell the drugs in the community? They know that drug. Well, when they get a hold of that drug dealer, guess what? He's got conspiracy. He's got RICO. He's got everything under the sun. But they just had to make sure they did it the right way. Go back to Donald Trump's inauguration. He distinctly came out there with 70 young officers. Just at the time when he was making a speech, telling America he was giving America back to the people. And after he did that, what happened? One young officer went over, talked to the other young officers. They all turned around and walked off. Those were the future. The future is now. So I go back to what Bill Buckner said. We are not going to let this become a third world country. And it's not us, the citizen patriots, that are going to do it alone. So me being a veteran and having faith in the oath that I swore to uphold, as many that have died under this flag, and for the millions that still represent this flag, there's going to come a day. There's going to come a day. And people are going to be shocked when Trump is found innocent, because this jury of everyday, average, ordinary Americans, you can label them Democrats if you want, but at the end of the day, they bleed red. They love low gas prices. They love to be able to go grocery shopping and fill their cart up and not go broke. They love the same values that everyday average Americans love. We'll get back to this in a couple of months, and we'll see where we're at. And I'll see if I'm the one laughing.
Okay, give me a second to let Bonnie, because Bonnie's down in the lower right-hand corner. She's probably laughing at me because I didn't give her a chance to talk. So Bonnie, please
it's okay.
come in and speak.
It's fine, Dave.
It gets wild. It does.
It does. So I'm more of a civil rights movement type of person. Okay, so I want to be clear to American citizens and Americans in general.
Go ahead.
I truly believe that it's every American's civil duty to stand up for what they believe in. To lean on our military or blame them, which is what I'm hearing a lot of lately, or our law enforcement for not doing more, I actually blame each and every American citizen. It's their civil duty to stand up and rise. That's all I have to say about this topic. I don't want to go into it any further. Thank you.
Perfectly said. You couldn't have put it any better. You couldn't have put it any better. I've always told people America goes the way Americans take it. We are not going to give in and give up the freedoms that so many before us have given their lives for. See, not many countries, we might be the only country that has really ever been allowed to exercise freedom, taste freedom. Just like you said earlier, Bonnie, just look at what we're dealing with. Look what people are able to get away with in the name of freedom. You try this crap that they're pulling here in another country, and you won't have to worry about it happening again.
You'll get the death penalty. They'll hang you for it in other countries.
And people in your family that support you.
And 4 generations after. I mean, these are very big things that we tolerate in our country, which we should not, but we do.
Under
and
freedom.
What it does is it because of our, they want to say, well, you know, of course, the criminal, they're always in the right anymore, and they talk about their freedom. But what about my safety? What about my freedom? What about walking down the street and being gang stalked like I've recently had to deal with? What about me? You know, it's wrong.
They don't take our freedoms away. We relinquish our freedoms to them. If we refuse, like this panel is doing, and like many other Americans are doing, if we refuse to live under these tyrannical laws, you know, like you said in a nutshell, it's up to Americans, and I've always said that. Said that. I mean, we've gotten to the awakening point. Lord knows every American is woke by now, to take their phrase. Now it's action. Now it's time for action. I understand everything happens in phases and steps. First, the shock, the initial shock of what you can't believe is happening. Then digesting it and realizing, okay, this is what's taking place. Now you have to counterattack it. Now you have to react to it. You see what's happening. The time of bitching and moaning and complaining is over. When we go through hard times, that initial reaction is to cry. Because when you get hurt, it's to bitch and moan. You get a divorce, you might cry a couple of weeks over your spouse because you miss her. But there comes a time you got to take action. And I really believe that the hearts of this jury is sitting there, because when I listen to the people last night on CNN and they talk about when they literally backed Cohen into a lie, they set him up on some shit he didn't know that they had, but the jury had already found out the truth a couple of days prior, so they knew. And that attorney for Trump rallied him around there, and Cohen said, yeah, I made the phone call, I talked to Trump, but the jury already knew he didn't talk to Trump. And he made up a whole story. And they said the look on the jury's face. They said one guy put his head in his hand because he couldn't believe. He's like, no, we already know, dude. Don't do it. Don't do it. They let him write down it. So when you have blatant, see, I understand if there's a gray area, we can get away with gray areas. We can finagle a way to cheat gray areas. But when you have, and now they got people getting ready to come out. Kamala Harris talking about, well, once we lose, I'm going back to California and run for governor. See, this is stuff that ain't even out yet. This is stuff that ain't even out yet. So Kamala Harris was overheard talking to one of her pen pals that when we lose, I'm going back to California and run for governor like Nixon did. And then make him come back for president.
I
I can't make this up. This is what they said this morning.
I don't see
It's
the people
true.
of California.
But they
I don't
said
see the
Nixon
people of
lost,
California.
though.
Right. I don't
And
see
they
the
say
people.
she's going to lose. They
I
say
don't
she's
see the
following
people of
the same
California.
playbook.
It might be the same playbook. I think that would be the wake up call if the vice president of the United States came back to her home state and decided to run for governor. I am going to drop it down
They
to
got
Randy
Gavin
Rhodes.
Newsom down there. He ain't doing
Well,
much better.
Gavin Newsom is a governor working his way up, not working his way, not being thrown out of the
Mr.
White House and going back to try to take over. But let me get Randy.
Mr. Dave,
Yes.
I need to go for the day.
Okay.
I'm sorry I have to pop off. I have my project, my disabled housing
Yeah.
project, so I got to go for the day. But
All
I
right.
just want to say thank you for having me on your show, everybody. Happy
was a
Red Friday, and God bless America. Have a good day. I'm going to sign off now,
All right.
sir. Thank
Okay,
you.
Thanks, buddy. Always a pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Parachute has opened. Okay. I hate doing that. I am going to drop it down to Randy because I know Randy is so busy working on other things and keeping one ear, but I want to get him to actually say something.
I hope that my comment about the military wasn't what triggered Bill. I
No.
thought it was.
It wasn't. It wasn't your comment about the military. It was my comment, I believe, about trying to confirm how martial law can be enacted and whether or not once whoever, as Bill said, it's a president. So if Biden were to sign over martial law, my understanding is, and no one has been able to confirm it, that the marshals don't ever actually have to give it back. They could keep it as long as they want it. And that's not anything about turning the United States into a third world country, although they might. But by the same token, maybe because they got the weapons and they got the control and they've got whatever, maybe in the back of my head, they got the ability to get us back on course. And maybe, I've never said this before, but maybe if it ever happened, it's the Marshals' plan to clean out Biden and everybody at the White House, the Senate. And once they've done that,
So
Marine
Evan-
One lands at the White House, and there's Donald Trump. But go ahead.
I just want to make this comment, and I have to jump too because I got I have 8 clients now. I got to take care of their time frames.
Okay.
But I mean, I hear what the three primary three were saying about the martial law, the military, the citizens of the country, and so forth. But the citizens of this country have relinquished their ability to defend it against their enemy. When you can have Democrat-controlled cities, it's primarily in the Democrat-controlled cities, okay, where you're seeing this type of behavior. But when you can see video, because New York has cameras on almost every piece of infrastructure in that city, and rightfully so. So you see all this video of folks, old folks, young folks, women, whatever, being brutalized by the illegals that are being left into the city, and no one comes to their aid, and they all pull out their damn cameras and they start filming it and laughing about it. And in fact, in some cases, it goes from 1 or 2, thugs beating up to someone to 5, 6, 8 thugs beating up on someone. You go into a fast food, restaurant, and because the French fries were cold or the hamburger wasn't done right, all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose, and the individuals are destroying the insides of the restaurant. The citizens are not rising up to protect the other citizens. They are standing back because they are damn afraid, and rightfully so. Because those who are perpetrating the crimes, they don't fear the outcome because they know that they might get processed, they might get their picture taken, but in the long term, it's going to be they're going to be out on the street doing it again.
Well, they're probably not even going to get arrested. I mean, they'll get arrested, but they'll get released because Kamala Harris has, better to give an illegal immigrant bail than support him in jail and jail every American for doing something.
But when you look at these Democratic governors are paying $4,000 or $5,000 a month on a cash card to these illegals, providing them with homes and cars and insurance and education.
Yep.
We will never win. I mean, I understand what William's saying
let me
about
ask you,
we
let me
outnumber the others,
let me ask you both a question, really. This is a real heart-to-heart question. Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell so you can get those instant notifications. This is a real heart-to-heart.
I do want to thank Mama D, who just tuned in. Denise, I have said I can't even try to say her last name, so I won't. Ray told me it's Mama D, so Mama D, I'm very glad to see you watching Boogie with the Bull and the Patriots Lab this morning.
And this is just a yes or no question. As long as America has been in existence, good, bad, or indifferent, do you think there's going to come a day when there's never an America?
No, I don't think there will be a day.
Okay, it's just a yes or no.
Well, it's not a yes or no. I believe that there will come a day that we get tired of the crap storm that we're living in right now, and we all stand up and say, hey, this isn't how we were. It's not about doxing the Supreme Court justices and going to their houses. It's going to the Supreme Court and saying, every president that appointed every one of you appointed you there because your job is to guard the Constitution and protect the American citizens and make sure that when it became necessary to do this, we did this. Not just the Second Amendment that says you can carry an AK-47 on your waist if you want to, but when it became time to literally stand up and, I'm using the wrong words, take America back, make America great again, build up. The other day I said Joe Biden built America better so that Donald Trump could make America great again. Because that's what Biden thinks. Biden, I don't know what planet the man is living on other than yesterday I saw something quoted from Biden that our economy has to be fantastic because the stock market closed at 40,000 for the first time in American history. My immediate response, then I'll go back to you, Bill, Ray, was all that happened is the elites, whether they're Republican or Democrats, saw the opportunity, sold or bought a boatload of stock, so the stock market had a fantastic day. But the reality is our economy sucks. Go ahead, Ray.
Oh, I was reading a comment from Craig Peterson.
He's a fantastic guy. I wish I could get him. I wish I could get him to come on.
Country it was in the past, and it will be a different country in the future. Okay. That goes back to what I was saying. I'm not saying America is going to stay the same. America will always evolve through immigration, back when the Irish came over and then the Italians and America will always evolve. That's not what I'm asking. The question I'm asking is, will America cease to exist? We live on a value system. There are still more Americans in this country than there is other nationalities. So as a whole, we're still America. Will we keep and retain our value system? Will we let the Chinese come over and overrun this country to where we become a Chinese value system? Will we let another country get so many of their people over here to where it just our currency becomes their currency? You know, their religion takes over the country as a whole. I'm not saying we don't have pockets of it, because it's obvious we do.
We are slowly losing our country to the influx of specific illegal immigrants. Let me give you a couple examples, and I got to jump off. Our nation is a lot larger than England, but look at what England is going through. They have cities, towns, hamlets that have been taken over by the Muslim population. They have Muslims in the various political levels throughout their country. Even the English people that I know are saying that they have lost their country to the Muslims, because every corner has a mosque. They have their chimes going off, what do you want to call that? You know,
Well, they
their
did.
chants and so forth. And
I just want to jump in for half a second. They did pretty much take over parts of England. You're right. I can't remember his name, but the Muslim that got elected mayor is now going into his second term.
right. And what's happening
And
is
that's
that
not anything against anyone other than they a large population of them seems to have
Hey,
settled there.
Randy, keep talking.
so
I hate to jump in.
so they are, the Muslims, they have huge families. They have multiple wives. They have, umpteen dozen children. They are over, I won't say overbreeding, but because the normal English traditional family has one or two children, they are being outnumbered. Their country is smaller, so it won't take much more before that country is completely overtaken and ruled as a Muslim nation. Our country is now experiencing that same thing. We have cities in various states that are being overtaken by the Muslim population. They are getting involved in politics because they're allowed to, and they're starting to change the whole feel of their towns to a Muslim traditional nation. It'll take longer because we have a whole lot more land mass to fill in. But as long as these illegals are coming in by the millions and they're having children and we're not, it won't take long before the nation as we know it and have seen it for the past 250 years has been taken over. Okay? We won't have, we already have Muslims in Congress. It won't take long before essentially we had a Muslim president. Our religion, the Christian faith is being trampled on. Our values being trampled on because of the 7% of the population that want to live a certain way, and the Democrats in control are allowing them to do that. You no longer have a Leave It to Beaver kind of family, or the whole series of shows of black and white back in the 50s and 60s that showed a traditional American family. Dad goes to work, mom stays home and takes care of the house, and kids go to school and they have fun. That's gone. And if we don't put a stop to it soon, which is closing the damn border, both on the ground and in the air, that is where we have to start to save this nation. And with that, I have got to get going. I have a lot of people I got to take care of. One thing, this Sunday, 7 p.m. is going to be my very first episode of On the Roads to think of it, Randy. On the road to, oh my God, I can't think of the name of my new group. Hang on a second.
On the roads to wherever it takes us.
Yes, something like
No,
that.
I won't. Matter of fact, because I will forget, Randy, as soon as you leave the broadcast, message me with the name. And I know it's Sunday at 7 p.m., but message me with the name. But go ahead.
So I spoke to Tom Vernon. He's been with me almost a year as a client. His family name, surname is Vernon. It goes back to the the 1300s. So what the whole precept of the show is to show what our family experienced to get to our country and how they had to live to survive to create us today. I'll give you a quick example, and I gotta jump. He has a ancestor, and I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but she lived in the 1500s. So as I was working on her profile, this picture pops up, right? I think, well, wait a minute. They didn't have that kind of technology back then. So I did my due diligence. I checked it out. And what happened is that this woman had this tumultuous love, romance with this wealthy man. And they had to secretly get married. But it was such intensity to it that in 1905, someone decided to create a serial of books based on this woman's life. There were stage broadcasts about it, and there was books about it. Eventually, there was movies made about it. So, who would have known? The lady back in 1500s, she's popular in 1900s. So this was the show is going to be about what the family went through, how the experience is, and he has given me permission to promote it and to talk about it. So it's going to be a series of events, of Sundays about his family, because his family has so much going on. And that's where I'm going to jump off. You guys have fun.
All right, Randy. Always a pleasure to have you on, Randy Rhodes. All roads lead to Home Genealogy Services. Get a hold of Randy. Like I said yesterday, on Wednesday, he did change it to where if you watch Boogie with the Bull and you contact Randy and you let him know that you're interested, standard-wise, he gives you 15 minutes and goes back 5 generations. He said if you mention Boogie with the Bull broadcast, he will give you 1 hour and go back as many generations as he can for free, trying to give you some interest. So please make sure you go ahead and do that. And as long as I keep my voice at a reasonable tone, Ray, we're free to go for however long it is before you have to cut off.
Well, I mean, it was a great day. I enjoyed the panel. It really was. I'm just of the belief that America will overcome. Maybe it's just me being me, but I'm just of the belief that America is going to overcome this obstacle and get through it. I'm of the belief that she has, in so many bad ways, been taken for granted. Her power, her freedom, the liberties that she provides, is just being taken for granted by Americans right now. There are a lot of Americans that still think America will right her own ship. But I will never lose the faith that America will ever cease to exist. In order for that to happen, we would literally have to be taken over, and I don't think that will ever happen.
I don't believe it will happen either. I'm just a demented, short for dementia, bipolar American sitting here going, I understand what people are saying, but I don't see people doing. And you said that on a broadcast a few weeks ago here, that you you hear people saying, but you don't see people doing. There are some people that come here every day or every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and they say, and I know they're doing. Craig Peterson says and does. Geo Magaman says and does. Alan McMillan says and does. I don't know how to say this person's name, and I don't want to mispronounce it because I don't want to say fake like I don't want to say fake like take. I don't know how to say his name, and I don't want to mispronounce his name, and I don't know if it's just a name that an American took, but I mean he is I see posts everywhere from him, and I have to imagine that if he's putting these posts up, he's going out and he's walking the walk and talking the talk. Donald Trump is out walking the walk and and talking the talk and walking the talk. I don't know. I have not given up faith that he will be elected. I'm just concerned that the same games, but maybe better games as far as the Democrats think, that will allow them to do the same thing, if not more, but not be noticed that they're actually doing it, are in play for 2024. And when it finally gets to the Supreme Court, what scares me is there's no guarantee that the Supreme Court is going to agree with you, or agree with me, Mama D, Craig, Gio, Callan, Randy, Bonnie, Bill, that and just do something totally out of left field. And because we don't really know, I mean, there's probably no way to know how corrupt, if they have been corrupted and compromised, the Supreme Court really is. And I don't even want to allege that they are that way, because they're the, when you get to the Supreme Court, that's it. You're reading the Constitution, and
unless your last name is Biden, then you can say to hell with what the Supreme Court says. I'll do what I want to do. Anyway. But that's written down.
I only think that Biden is saying to hell with it because either you or someone who has the time to do it, maybe I'll ask Jen Woodruff to do it. How many presidents in the history of the Supreme Court served one term, maybe even two terms, without having the pleasure of nominating and getting a Supreme Court justice on the court?
But Biden goes against the Supreme Court.
Right.
And you're not supposed to do that. So that just shows
the
lawfulness in which this deep state, which people really need to understand, that's really what it is. But this I don't know how long you've been doing this.
5 years.
Okay.
Well, 4 years documented. 4 years documented. There's a year of broadcast that got lost, and I can't find them. So, but it is 5 years.
It's it would be hard to really believe, and this is coming from someone like me who's a real critical thinker. It would be hard for me to really believe that there isn't a higher echelon sitting back, waiting to counter everything. Because you would have to get me to believe that everybody who has any type of power or influence within this country is just corrupt and for its downfall. Like I said, I've been doing this 8 years, and when I first started doing it, I used to follow some gentlemen And like I said earlier, we would talk about the white hats and the black hats and the things that were going on and what they would need to have happen in order for it to be a global takedown. And then I remember all of the governments around the country that had miraculously tumbled and got reestablished. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things that are being allowed to happen. There's a lot of things that happen that aren't supposed to happen, but we don't ask why they're being allowed to happen. Like, why is the military allowing this to happen? Do they need this to happen in order to have the case to take part in the global takedown that they need? Are they willing to sacrifice, like sting operations do, time for quality? That's why I've always had the mindset, because I've always remembered starting out, who are the white hats?
Calvin McMillan asks a very valid question right now. Who are the white hats, Ray?
Well, do you know how people are saying that there's a deep state?
Yes.
Well, these would be the opposite.
Okay.
Because everybody in our hierarchy isn't evil like this.
You're right.
We have to understand, maybe things like this have to happen to get the American people to be able to back what might happen. Because can you imagine the military or Trump or whoever be it trying to lock up all of these swamp people without any hardcore evidence? Well, guess what? They have accumulated evidence and didn't really have to do much work. The deep state literally handed over all type of evidence, from Chuck Schumer hearings to Adam Schiff lying to we can't forget about all the bad things that all the bad players did. It's all why do you think Gitmo is still open?
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Craig Peterson put up a link to a glossary that will define white hats and black hats for you. If you want to read it, you probably should. And if you don't want to read it, you should probably read it anyway. I'm sorry I cut you off, Ray.
No, go ahead. That's good. I'm glad you put that up there.
Yep. Craig's a good guy. Craig needs to come on the broadcast when he can, if not all the time. FRF. I don't want to say it wrong, so I just don't want to try to say it. Ray may know how to say it, but I don't want to say it wrong. But it's noted in the live chat today and I think I did. I messaged you a few minutes ago and said you're more than welcome to join us. We have 8 positions, so it's always at least me, usually me, Randy, and Ray. So that leaves 5 people. It does get a little crazy when 5 people are on, but so maybe we have to limit it to 4 people. But the more the merrier, and the more the right information gets out to people. Mama D says this past 4 years have been a true shakedown to expose the corruption. And
well, what do people think when Trump said, and these are very key words, when Trump said he was going to drain the swamp?
I think
now when you drain something, just look at it. When you
get rid of it,
something,
you get rid of it.
So he didn't say, I come here to do my presidency and let these people stay after I'm gone. No, that wasn't. I keep things in context.
Yeah,
that's not what he said. He didn't say, I'm going to come be president for 8 years and then let y'all deal with him.
No,
He didn't say it's going to be done in 8 years. He said,
I'm going to come here and get it started. And and hopefully when I leave at the end of 8 years, I mean, but when he's done at the end of his presidency, at the end of 8 years,
we got some momentum.
His vice president will have some enough momentum to carry on for 8 years, and maybe his vice president or her vice president will continue on. Listen. I want the Republicans to remember that we did ask Elizabeth Dole before she became the head of the Red Cross to run for president. I don't remember the reason why she said no, but we did ask, going way back before the Democrats, I think, even thought about Geraldine Ferraro as vice president and maybe one day becoming president. We asked a very, as far as I'm concerned, qualified, if not overqualified, well-respected Republican lady to lead this country. And then now I give back to Ray.
I mean, and then, okay, I and all of the thoughts and opinions are mine and mine alone. I look at a person like Trump. Now, yeah, he's a rough on the edges type of guy. He can deal with a lot. But for a man that so loves this country so much, he don't seem like the country is really, really, really in danger. For a man that can be looking at the rest of his life in jail, he doesn't carry himself like a paranoid schizophrenic person normally would. Like, so he's just too calm about everything. Because I believe he knows that in the end of it all, he knows where the outcome is. I think Trump's sitting back like, damn, okay, we got him right where we want him. They think they got us, but we really got them. So I'm just going to ride it out. You know what I'm saying? Take these body blows. Take the blow. Because at the end of the day, I'm around all of them up. Like the OK Corral. But, time will tell. Time will tell. I'd like to think if Trump got back in the office, he wouldn't be a vindictive president. Not like he says he's going to show everybody victory by results. Yeah. Okay, Trump. I believe that.
Okay. Hang on just a second. I was hoping I'd get something typed before it was my turn to talk. And
you're all right.
Just having a little bit of trouble sometimes trying to do everything that you have to do while you're hosting and live producing. And this was probably one of the better shows. This was one of the best shows we've done in a long time on a Friday morning. Unfortunately, I hope we didn't upset Bill Muckler and that he will come back. I just get so much thrown at me in the course of the week that by the time Friday rolls around, I want to ask the people who I think know the answer to the question and get the answer to the people who need those answers, because in my state of mind right now, it's very difficult to sit down and try to do research for more than about 35 seconds. If I don't get the answer that I want, I get upset and go on to something else.
I'm going to get ready to jump myself. I appreciate another Friday. And you're not going to be around tomorrow, like you said.
No, I'm not going to be around tomorrow. I am going to be at a craft show in Green Cove, Florida.
Okay. Well, for everybody watching, I appreciate it. For those in the Patriots Lab and not in the Patriots Lab, you can catch me tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, for a great show. Come to find out, I can do my video clips. My videos are still up. So,
Good.
Hey, let's go
And
ahead
ring
and get
that bell
into
if you watch it. Ring that bell if you watch it.
All right, Dave. You have a good one, brother.
All right. Great. Always a pleasure to have you on. Do make sure, if you're watching on the Patriots Lab, make sure you ring that bell. That's all I'm going to say. And if you don't know what I mean when I say make sure you ring that bell, if you're watching on the Patriots Lab network, make sure you ring that bell. Because you need to. You need to. I want to thank Mama D for watching. Callum McMillan from Buddy's Boat Barn and Ambulance Conversions. If you have a boat and it needs help, I don't know if you have to bring the boat to Callum or if you can get Callum to come to your boat. That's between the two of you. But if you are looking for an ambulance that can be converted into just about anything that you want, Callum does have one of the old box ALS Advanced Life Support rigs that is coming together for sale, and you can talk to him. Those things are very, very, very versatile, as I had said on other broadcasts. You could probably convert one and live in it. I have a friend in the board-up business who has a mobile office for it in his. I have friends who have them converted to mobile studios, which is what I had always thought I would do if I ever got the chance. But Buddy's Boat Barn and Ambulance Conversions, you won't find it on Facebook because that's what I call it every time I see Callan bring it up. So talk to Alan if you do. I'm glad you watched Mama D, and that's all we're trying to do is just show that we care and get the information. And in year 5, it's a little easier for me with the dementia kicking my butt. Some days it's a little easier to have people on who are ready to speak, and just a group of people and just kind of mentor, or excuse me, moderate a conversation. Sometimes I will jump in there. I'm still rude and jump in and take over and decide who's going to talk and when they're going to talk. But I have a lot of fun doing this. I really do. We are on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. Usually Randy Rhodes and I, and sometimes William Rayfield. And Fridays are generally Bill Muckler, as he said he will come on most Fridays. And also Ray and myself and Randy. Jen Woodruff would have been with us this morning, but she had something that she had to do. She's on with us Tuesdays and or Thursdays with the political interviews that we do, the Robert Angel Little ongoing, because it's going to be an ongoing series of broadcasts discussing his book, Innocence Lost, and his growing up in Romania, living through the Romanian Revolution, and then coming to the United States. So stick around to watch those. Last night, I talked to my friend Joe Burlak from Divinergy, divinergy.org, about all kinds of holistic and natural approaches to life. And if you missed it, you're more than welcome to go to the Dave Golovin profile or the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel and get it from there. If you're on Street Lock, you can get it from over there. And if you, let's see, today, we're going to do it the easy way. We're on my profile. We're on the Boogie with the Bull page. We're on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. And we were riding the Patriots Lab platform. So that's where we were. And then also I did put it on Threads, and I did put it on X. You have to decide which one you like better. I like both. and I enjoy both. So we will, when we can, we will post it live there. Also on Streetlock, STREETLOC.com. It's usually live from the YouTube channel in the Streetlock newsfeed. If you see it on Streetlock and you see it on X, we are not always watching the live chat. There's a live chat if you see it from the @BoogieWT profile, our Boogie with the Bull profile on X. There is a live chat on that link, but we don't always watch it. So today we're live on X because I tweeted it, but I'm not watching the live chat. So your best bet is to watch it on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, and I'll tell you where we are. And that live chat is monitored if you watch it there, if you're not watching it on Facebook. On Facebook, it'll always be on my profile and on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. Anyway, the dogs in Studio B are saying it's time for lunch. So this is the part of the broadcast where I tell you you have been watching Boogie with the Bull, Red Friday Morning Caffeine, a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. I want to thank everybody who watched. Mama D, Callum McMillan, Eyewash, this guy. I'm going to have him come on, or I'm going to have him write me how to pronounce his name, because I hate mispronouncing names. It makes me look stupid if I don't know how to pronounce your name. And my last name gets mispronounced so many times and it bothers me, so I wouldn't want to mispronounce anybody else's name. But I will write it down phonetically and be able to properly pronounce it. Dr. Craig Peterson, our child psychology advocate, you are welcome to come on the broadcast anytime you wish. And Alan, you're always welcome. If you actually want to come on, you're welcome to come on. Geo Mega Man, you should be on every broadcast. And as I scroll up, if you write what I call paragraph or long comments in the live chat, it's easier for me to just tell you, come on the broadcast and speak, because I can't always read your long comments, and I want to get them into the program. I can flash them on the screen, but it's a little difficult to get there and be able to read it. And I want everybody to be involved in the broadcast. And I'm going to do this one more time because I didn't get a chance to actually read it. I didn't put it into the broadcast so people will see it. But Geo Mega Man wants to give a shout out to one of our own political prisoners from the J6 group that was released, Kirsten Niemela, Niemela. I'm assuming it's Niemela. Kristen Niemela. Welcome home party Saturday, May 18th. That's tomorrow, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Londonderry, New Hampshire American Legion Post 27, which is located at 26 Sergeant Road in Londonderry. And Gio, it's always a pleasure to mention you. Make sure you go to all of our groups, if I can remember them all: American Regulators, Boogie with the Bull, True Patriot Talk group, Conservative Freedom Defenders. From there we go to MAGA News Nation. From there we go to the Red Patriots for America. Then we go to the groups, which are the Hardcore Conservatives group, the United Media Group Uncensored, the World. Shoot, my brain went. I'm sorry. I really need to write them down and keep them in front of me. The World as One Against Government Overreach. The World as One Against Government Overreach. It will sometimes always come back to me. Dementia is a terrible thing, but you deal with it as best as you can. And as I keep saying, if you are someone like me or you're going through any kind of dementia, I in no way want to embarrass you, but come on a broadcast and deal with me, because I get up every morning. It's in my head when I go to sleep, and when I wake up in the morning, it's still in my head. And some days I can just get up and gangbusters, and it doesn't get in my way. And some days it gets in my way as soon as I wake up, and all I want to do is roll over and go back to bed. Don't give in to the rolling over and going back to bed. Please don't. Get up, do whatever you got to do. Eat breakfast, chase the dog around the house, leash up the dog and go take a walk. If you can't do that, go take a walk. Get an adult trike and ride it around. I won't say this because it doesn't happen much with me, but find a senior center and go to a senior center. You know, I would love to find more in my area, the senior groups that go to McDonald's, Panera Bread, and the guys usually tend to find their table and talk politics, while the ladies usually go to their table and talk crochet. And there's nothing wrong with that. And actually talk to people that are living the American citizen dream. Anyway, I'm Dave Blow and you're not. I did tell you that Boogie with the Bull Red Friday Morning Caffeine is a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. And if I didn't, well, then I said it there. Anyway, as Ray did say, and I said throughout the broadcast, there is no A Rare Saturday Morning Boogie with the Bull tomorrow morning, because there is a craft show. Hang on just a second. There's a craft show in Green Cove, Florida, where Family Treasures, that's Donna, my wife, and I will be, I will post the information later. I forgot to ask her for it last night and get it in and get it posted. But if you go to the Family Treasures page that looks like a multicolored chicken is the profile picture, that's the one. You will see beautiful crocheted items that our daughter-in-law, who we live with, makes, as well as Donna makes. Special orders are available. You can even order them through the page. And you'll just love what you see, and you'll just love what you order. You really will. Really, really fun, beautiful, cool stuff. If you can be there, I will let you know, or get to the Family Treasures page, and it will let you know where it is. If you can't get to the page, get a hold of me, and I'll get you the link for the page, and I will send it to you, and or post it on my profile. Anyway, that's about all I got to say. I'm going to go eat a late breakfast. The dog and cat ate before I did, because I forgot to feed them last night, which was a terrible thing. So they've already eaten, so I'm going to eat now and go out and make it a beautiful day. It's kind of still gray and cloudy. We're in that period of time, weather-wise, where we could get a 4 o'clock chance of rain almost every day of the week. And kind of yucky, I know. So, it's easy to stay inside with the blinds drawn and hide from the world and camp out on social media. Anyway, I'm Dave Blow and you're not. Double V's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is going to come to an end. And if I can quickly look and get, if I can quickly look at something and get an answer. It depends. Okay, work with me. 150 people watched Boogie with the Bull Red Friday Morning Caffeine this morning, and I hope that grows and grows and grows. We will be back Monday morning at 10 a.m., Randy Rhodes and I, and hopefully Ray and anyone else who wants to join. Tuesday night will be Tuesday Night Live at 7 p.m. There's no plan for that broadcast right now, so it might be a open broadcast, open discussions broadcast where just come in and we'll do what we do. And if you want to participate, you are more than welcome in the live chat or even on the broadcast. So that's what we have going. Anyway, I'm starting to get tongue-tied. And